treasure are never enough. Then you came along, you put me back together. Every day is fine here in your love. Nothing better than nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing, nothing is. I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you see and you still, 'cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley, and there's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing, come on, better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. The only one who can. You turn great gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. Better than you, there's nothing than you. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. No, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. There's nothing, nothing better than you. You turn to dancing, give beauty for ashes. You turn glory. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one. Do a few announcements. Y'all can take a seat for a little bit. I know it's a rainy. Let's just rest for a minute. All right, this is Maria. In case you don't know, this is one of our teens, and she's going to help us do announcements today. So,
Good morning. So for the first announcement, on September 30th is the growth group. We're going on a 3-week of our group study where we are diving into fasting and what looks like for us today, and what that looks like for us today, and what it means when we walk this out with Jesus. Please feel free to reach out to Pastor Jason if you have any questions regarding this very special group.
is at Pastor Jason and Sam's house. Yep.
And on October 30th is Planted. Immediately following the service, we will have a class led by Pastor Jason where you will get to learn more what it is we do and what we believe at Church in the Wall. You can register for this on the church app. And on October 20th is Northern Nights. We are so excited to have this yearly event with our CITW community. We'll be having games and candy for the kids along with a chili cook-off. So make sure to stay after service to enjoy some quality time. Please make sure to register on the Church Center app for Northern Nights. We can't wait to see you there.
And we also are encouraging people to make sure your kids are trick or treat, trunk or treat events. So we'll have trunk or treats out back. We're going to have the chili cook-off in here. But yeah, good time.
And October 27th is Rooted. Immediately following the service, Pastor Jason will be leading you through a class that will deeper into Christ. You can register for this church. Pastor Jason to learn more.
All right, awesome. Everybody, let's give a round of applause for Maria. All right, we're going to ask you to stand back up. We're going to get back. I want to encourage you today, because I know it's a gloomy day, and I know we can be thinking about whatever's going on in the week, but let's really focus on Jesus today. Even today for me, I woke up best of spirits, and I'm just ready for Brian to be home, and I'm thinking about just negative immediately as I woke up. And as soon as I was singing this song, the Lord was immediately talking to me. I think that that's such a powerful thing, music and our worship and the attitude that we have, the energy that we bring. It can be shifted by how we sing in our worship. And so I really want to encourage you today, if you're having a really hard, maybe a month or a year, I want to encourage you to read the words, sing the words, and worship like nobody else. Who you matters is you, Jesus.
Inside, it brings me to my knees, nowhere to. This weight is crippling. Come speak to the sea. What's raging inside of me? All of this worry, to you I will release. Cast my cares at your feet. Take it all. Take it all. I trade my fear for your peace. Take it all. Take it all. Give me your peace. You pull me up when I feel beneath. You clear the skies. You souls relief. Come speak to the sea. What's raging inside? To you I will release. I your take it all. Take it all. I trade my fear for your peace. Take it all. Take it all. Your peace. Let your peace fall from your hand to my heart. Let your peace fall. 'Cause it's who you are. Let peace fall from your hand to my heart. Your peace fall down. 'Cause it's who you are. Let your peace fall down from your hand to my heart. Let your peace fall down. let your peace your hand in my heart, let your peace fall down, 'cause who you are. Oh, it's who you are. I cast my cares at your feet. Take it all. Take it all. I trade my fear for your peace. Take it all. Take it all. Give me your peace.
How you provided, how you held me through the night. And I remember how you, when you stepped in to save my life. If I knew then what I know now, I would be still and let you work it out. And Jesus, lost in the water, but I never went under. You were always on time. And Jesus went through the fire. You were right there beside me. You were always on time. You were always, always, always on time. You were always, always, always on time. I remember how you carried when you couldn't take a step. And I remember you loved me when I couldn't love myself. And Jesus, come on. Oh, but I'm under. You were always on time. When I went through the fire, you were there beside me. You were on time. You were always, always on time. Again, you were always, always, always on time. You were always, always, always on time. Oh, what a faithful God. How you kept us and sustained me. It's never been a day, never been a minute, never been a moment that you weren't in. Time that you didn't see me through, God. Come on. I worship you. There's never been a day, never been a minute,
Never been a moment that you weren't in it. There's never been a time that you didn't see me through, God. So I worship you. There's never been a day, never been a minute, never been a moment that you weren't in it. There's never been a time that you didn't see me through, God. So I worship you. There's never been a day, never been a minute, there's never been a moment that you weren't in it. There's never been a time that you didn't see me through, God. So I worship you, Jesus. I was lost in the water, but I never went under. You were always on time, Jesus. When I went through the fire, you were right there beside me. You were always on time. You were always, always, always on.
All right, so that is so exciting. I love that. Let's give it up for the mission team. That's, I know we're not supposed to covet, but I'm definitely coveting them and their ability to go and do that. That is life-changing for them. You saw some of the food. We were able to feed an entire village for 3 months with food that we were able to bring in. And so just amazing, incredible stuff that we get to be a part of, and you get to be a part of. Every dollar that you helped us there, and man, I could talk about this forever, but they're going to come back and want to talk about it. And so I'm man today. The Invisible Man movie is about a man who shows up in a small town in England covered in bandages and wearing dark glasses. Very mysterious. He demands to be left alone and does time conveniently his rent bill is due, he disappears and they can never find him, which some of you know exactly what that is like. He is eventually making bigger and bigger messes, and they can hear him laughing, and they think he's talking to somebody else, and so they go to evict him. And when they go to evict him, he throws a man down the stairs, rips his bandages off in front of the police, and disappears entirely while laughing. And turns out this is not the first time that this has happened. So he's also disappeared earlier in London from his fiance and from his boss, and he's just gone. Can't find him. All these things to try to find him. They have the police looking for him, all these other people, and he eventually makes visible people who he kind of manipulates into crimes. About these crimes, like, well, we may commit a few crimes like derailing a train, but world, and every his visible partners get caught and get in trouble, he's no. He disappears again and again through the entire movie. It starts to, they can see. So he tries to run away. Footprints in the snow, and like I said, it's 100 years old, so I'm not spoiling this for you. The detective actually shoots him, and he becomes visible again, and that is, and you are What does that have to do with Proverbs 25:19 at all? Proverbs 25:19 says, trusting in a treacherous man in times of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. What that movie reminded me of when I was watching this as a kid is that person who always disappears in times of adversity. That person who, when you need them, they are nowhere to be found. They are the invisible man. And 2 weeks ago, we talked about Casper the Friendly Ghost. And we talked about how there's people who will ghost you sometimes, like you think you had the best day, and then they just never answer you again. We're not talking about that. We're talking about someone who's still there, but they're just helpful. This is the person who you go to. They come to you in times of need over and over and over again. But when you need something from them, there is all that can't go. The invisible man can never be serious. They're always switching jobs. They're always switching churches. They're all the next thing. You never really know your because in the straight they are here for a good time, but not for a long time. They are not comfortable in the mundane everyday life. And sometimes you get a little glimpse of this because in the everyday life you say or do something and they just blow like, why are you so upset right now? But it's because they're going to become invisible. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 6. Many a man. If you're a single girl, this is your life verse. Many a man proclaims his own steadfast love, but a faithful man who can find. All right, we can all agree on that. That is the truth. There's a lot of dudes who love you. Are they a faithful, good man? So let's talk about why they are the invisible man. What makes man the invisible man? Well, it could be one of two very different reasons. One, they do not think they can win, so they just they could be becoming invisible during conversations because you have trained them to believe that no matter what it is, they can't find a win in it, so they just disappear. Okay? So they could be turning to Xbox or turning to television or turning to social media or turning to TikTok because they feel like they can win on there. And in the everyday relational parts of life, they feel like there's no way. So it's easier for them to just kind of disappear. This is why this in a minute, I don't want to my own sermon, but this is why it's so important to point out the good you see as often as you point out the bad that you see. Because we've got to find ways for them to find wins. But how often they do not want to or do not know how to face adversity. And this is why I think it's so important that we do not come rushing to the rescue every time they face adversity. Because we have to help our kids handle adversity on their own. Now, certainly, we're not talking about this time. One is did out of 6 different sports because the coach didn't like them. We are literally teaching to become the invisible. They're adults. Learn how it's not fair. One of the best things in life that can happen to you is if you're playing sports and the rest figure out how to win. So often what we do as adults is we love our kids, and I say, because I do this, I love my daughter, we love our kids, and so anytime adversity comes, we're like, oh, I'll just pull you out of there and I'll rescue you. So that when they are adults and they have to face adversity, all of a sudden they don't know how because they've never done it. This is why they disappear. And it is why people in our life disappear, because so often they've not faced adversity. And so when adversity comes, and adversity will come, I'm doing the FCA for Westville Central right now. They lost Friday night. It was 42-7 with 7 minutes left, and they're 0-6. I told them, you have this in life called the opportunity to learn how to handle adversity. Never get anywhere else in the season. Adversity can be helpful. So, you know why they're invisible? To handle adversity. So how do we deal with the invisible man? Well, the movie teaches us that we need to see the footprints. Some of the footprints of somebody who's an invisible to play the blame game. They will blame anyone and anything else besides what really is causing them pain. Often you will get blamed for all sorts of things by them, but in reality, it's not you. It's just easier to blame the spouse than it is to look at the thing from their childhood or from their middle school years. And so it's easier to say, you are causing me pain, you are the reason I'm not happy. In reality, it's something middle school back. We don't want to handle this adversity. We play the blame game. We consistently blame outside of the reality of what really is causing the problem. They will blame people within their career or with friends because they do not think they're with you. So they're looking for a new reason to pass the buck. This is why you look to them and say, what is wrong with you? And they're like, well, I'm unhappy with this or this or this. And it's always something besides what really is going on. So they will play the blame game, or they will play, look at that over there. Look at that over there. They will look at anything else besides the adversity they're in. Look at how busy I am. Look at how successful I am. Look at how funny I am. Look at how much fun I'm having. Any reality. I don't want to see, but we go on another trip with a new credit card and add new bills to the bills that we didn't want to see in the first place. And this is what it looks like to say, look at that over there. Number 3, let's have as much fun as possible rather than deal with the pain. So somebody who is an invisible man just pile fun on top of adversity and pain over and over again, and wonder why at the end of the still pain and adversity. Dealt with the relationship hard, or making the career hard, or making life hard. They've not dealt with the bill. Continue to try more of it. This is why I put 3 exclamations in my. I just want fun. Reality is that life is not always fun. It cannot be, nor was it. Say to Adam and Eve, the garden, have fun. He said to Adam and Eve, the garden is perfect, let's work in it. Fun is a part of life, but fun is not life. And there's one thing that I see in my grandfather, who stormed into Leyte Gulf in the Philippines in the middle of the war with nothing but a medic kit, and had people shooting at him more than they were shooting at soldiers, because they were like, well, if we shoot the medics, then we can kill 10 people for every medic that we kill. In the middle of any part in that, did he stop and say, now let's play a game so we have fun? He just dealt with it, right? But what I see in our generation is we're so determined to have fun because we have been taught since kindergarten that everything should be fun all the time. And so all that we can think of during times of adversity is, I'll just escape the adversity and I'll go have fun over here. But you can't outrun a monster, and you can't outrun a monster. Is going to be there when you get back from the fun. We used to go to a cabin in the woods every Christmas or every New Year, and we would drive a full 18-passenger van. And when we would get to this part where the van could not go any further because it was like 4 feet of snow, we would then snowmobile for like another mile in. And from there, we would carry like all of this stuff into this cabin. My dad would start a fire. We would have chili. And as kids, it was so fun. I remember that things got me. So did my cousin, a sibling, and my mom thought, we'll bring all these grown people into this same. We're just gonna, because that's how they have now, and we're all grumpy now. Play the game the right way. We all call people out when they. I can remember we're sitting around this card table playing Uno, I think, and my sister's arguing with my brother, and my brother's like, "Don't you talk to me like that, woman?" And she's like, "You don't call me." And they're just going back and forth, and I hear my mom from the other room, "Doesn't fun?" And my brother goes, "Of course we're not having fun. You brought Angie." And so this cabin that was peaceful and so beautiful all of a sudden was not peaceful and beautiful. The reality is a game of Uno is not going to remove adversity. It's just piling fun on top of the adversity. Next, now you see me, now you don't. I'll just disappear to where I know I can find success because no one really hears me or sees me anyways. Just stay home or show them that they should listen to me. I'll just not go, or if I, instead of learning how to win, I'll just be present and visible. If I do show up, and this is such a thing right now, if I do show up, I will show up looking for reasons to validate what I already want to be true. And so I'll just spend time trying to find the one person in the room who validates what I already think so that I have a reason to then leave and be gone and disappear. And this happens all the time. Controversial thing is there is just people hurt because people hurt people. And you just happen to get hurt in the church. But if you didn't get hurt in the church, you'd get hurt in the gym because somebody would film you and start making fun of you while you were trying to squat. You get hurt in the gym. And if you didn't hard, hurt at school, because adversity happens because people hurt people. And in reality, we have people hurt. People hurt people. What happens so often is we've been hurt or we know somebody else who's been hurt, looking for the reason to validate what we already believe. As soon as it happens, we're like, got my chance to disappear. And this is why I've had people ghost me, find out later on, like, well, you were the only one who was my friend. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I thought I was your friend. I don't know how that's bad. Well, it was just you. Or you know what, everyone but you. Or there's all these reasons for people who disappear because we're looking to validate what we already want to be true. So when you're in that relationship, you go to them and you need help, and they're like, I knew it. Oh, he's do it, and they disappear. They're looking for something to validate what they already believe, so they have a reason to disappear. And I am such a hypocrite about this because I do. And I'll give you a perfect example. Many of you know I'm not from this state. Therefore, you know I don't cheer for the team from this state. So what I find myself doing teams from the state that I refuse to name is I find myself so much into. I want to be right about the team I chose to cheer for. So I'll come in because I happen to be friends with a couple of their former players, and I'll be like, oh man, those guys are great, but you know why I don't like them? Because they're fans. And so I'll find myself walking in a sea of 100,000 people looking for the one guy who's just a colossal jerk so that I can be like, ha! Said the name. Said the name. We're not doing OHIO up here. You know, fans do OHIO because they can't spell Michigan. All right. You're like, church hurt, he's a jerk. You guys are going to beat us by 50 this year. I'm myself to it. I will look for reasons to why I think something I already believe is true, so I can validate my reason to continue to think I already think, so I can be invisible and have a reason to do it. It happens so often in life. And so if you have a person in your life, every time you go to them in time of need, they're like, I would help you, but 16 years ago, you did this. Now I'm not going to help you. They're just looking for a reason to validate what they already believe is true. So they have a reason to disappear. So then, how do we deal with this person? Because odds are really high. Person, one of two people. We either like are best friends with that person, but we know they're going to let us down, or we're like right now, like, I don't know anyone like that. The room is like, oh, a person like that. So how do we deal with them? Because you can't outrun them. Just relationships, people over and over again. Never find somebody who disappears when you need them. Movies, monster movies, just that fast, the battery, and you can't, because no matter how the bad table out of 7 tables in the cafeteria you hid under, he knows right to stop right there, and he's like dragging. Stop right where you're at. This is true about life. You cannot outrun adversity. Adversity is part and a piece of life. Hide from it, piling fun on top of it. So how do we deal with it? Well, we need to point out the wins or the good things that we see in them. If they keep a serious conversation, eyes and they start shifting over to watch the TV, if that happens really high, they think they cannot win with you, and so they've given up. Because all of humanity was created for, and all of humanity was also created for the need to find a way to win, because we have to be able to survive. So for centuries, we were finding a way to win until all of a sudden, we disappear. This is why we will spend countless dollars gambling on sports, but not our football. Not talk to the person in the room who's trying to talk to us about the serious things. This is why we will spend countless hours on TikTok, because you know what TikTok does? It gives us a quick win. We've got to win. They're that and I'm not. I won today. Because we need to find complete human. It's a part of our DNA is to win. So if invisible man or child in your life, point out when they win. As often as they point out when they lose, point out when they win. In fact, build ways into the relationship for them, then point it out when they do. So if you're only going to point out every time they don't in the one place that you want, from work, have a good job at work. Build ways into your relationship for the people around you, and then celebrate when they celebrate. I really think games are a thing is because we had generations where we were like, and we need to find ways to win and overcome these things. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the 80s and 90s, that was taken away from a lot of boys if they did football. And so they didn't know how to find any other way to win. So we, for decades now, have not been able to other than to find a way to do it. So if you have people in your life and you're going to point out negative, build in ways to the relationship for them to win, and then point it out and celebrate it when they do. So if a kid paints on the thing that they're not supposed to paint on, you can point out that they're not supposed to paint on it. So make sure that when they color the page they're supposed to color on, and make sure you point that's for them. It's gone, come roar when a bit of success. So often, our spouse always just think that they can't with us, so they're going to find a place that they can. And that doesn't mean they're going to do just horrible bad things. It just means they're going to spend time watching something to the one friend who helps make them feel like they can win, so be that friend. If you're going to point out every time she spends money she shouldn't, point out the times that she doesn't and celebrate it. Figure out ways to point out the good you see. Visible, stay consistent. Don't get inconsistent with an inconsistent person. Stay visible, stay present. Number 3, bring on movie one serum to help the guy become visible again. Our serum in life is perspective. Bring on perspective. We may not be the problem, always fix our perspective. We need to provide perspective to those we love and to ourselves. Well, we need to have a proper perspective on adversity. Isaiah chapter 30, this is a beautiful, poetic couple of verses, and also it is a verse that I think just 90% of Christianity is like, we don't want to talk about this. Though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet your teacher will not hide himself anymore, but your eyes shall see your teacher. Your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. When you turn to the right or when you turn to the left. Scriptures is saying here, this is in Isaiah, and Isaiah was an old school prophet, and the children of Israel used to let their land rest. They were supposed to every 7 years let their land rest, but because they got greedy, they wanted to achieve more and more and more and more, so they wouldn't let captivity for a set amount of time to let the land rest in the land and sustain in the land when Jesus would arrive. And so there's this book called Isaiah, and Isaiah is this prophet, and he just keeps talking about, man, like these people they're gonna be doing this, and this hard time's coming in your life, and this hard time's coming in your life, and he calls it the bread of adversity. The bread of adversity, water of affliction. In other words, the everyday essential need of having adversity in our life. Because adversity is not something to run away from. Adversity can help us to see clearly, but only if we do not blame others in disappointment. It can help us to see ourselves, others, and God more clearly, but only if we do not blame others and disappear. Often in times, the temptation is to figure out who to blame so that we can head out. But in reality, adversity is something we understand. See ourselves. And the Bible see our teacher. So often in our life, we try to make adversity instead make ourselves invisible because we don't want to deal with adversity. You can fix problems that you refuse to see. If there's a problem, you just refuse to acknowledge it, you will never fix it. Honesty is required because it forces us to see problems. Often in life, but the Bible can also lead to competence and joy. On verse 2, count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Now, I do have to point out right here that James is talking to people who are right around this time were being used as human torches by the Roman Empire. They were being sawn in half. Some of them were being soaked in sheepskin and then released into a desert to slowly suffocate. Some of them were being put into logs and the logs sawn in half. Some of them were being fed to animals. And James says, count it all. Try the test. And when steadfast has its full effect, you are perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Now, if you're going to say this to people who are being used as human torches, surely we can this because we didn't put the same political yard sign up as them. Surely we can survive social media. Adversity is good for us if we stick in the adversity and learn competence. Competence is different than confidence. And I think what we've tried to do so often is to teach confidence and really what we need to. Because competence says, I know that I have what I need to get through this. So I'm confident in adversity and I'm confident out of adversity. Because I know that my school or my friend circle has prepared to be able to handle and take care of myself even in difficult times of adversity. And that's competence. Competence says, I'm sure that with the help of God and with my figure out a way to get through. I'm in. And when we talk about this, he says you are perfect and complete nothing. Competence leads to competence. This is why it's so important that we solve the problem every time that there is a problem. Because if we teach them how to solve the problem, they will begin to be competent than just confident. You can be confident without being competent, but competence always leads to confidence. Because if as a young person they learned how to solve difficult times and difficult trials, tests, they learn how to be confident even in the difficult. So we have to see the truth about adversity, but also the truth about ourselves and others. Often in times of adversity, we project ourselves onto others when we blame them. Think about in Scripture, 3 named Cain, who the only murderer recorded in the entire Scripture. So he's recorded as being the only live murderer. God goes to punish him. What does Cain do? Everybody knows is going to murder me. But no one had even thought of murder besides him. Often in adversity, what we do is who we would be and what we would do unto others around us, and we begin to blame them. Judas accused the lady who of not killing the poor, and yet it was Judas who was stealing from the poor the entire time. The wicked servant accused his talents. He didn't just say, I'm master, I hid my talents. He said, you do this and you do this. And doing. He was revealing what he would have done had he been in the nation of him. This one is absolutely wild. Recent studies have shown the least generous people in America are the ones who vote for government to regulate. Because what we do is we or they won't because we won't give unless, or we say, you don't have to tax them, we'll just take care of people. Go in adversity, begin to blame others and find a reason to disappear, actually pointing out what we would do if we were in their situation. What others is a reflection of what to see. What we see in others is often a reflection of what we were afraid to see in ourselves. Well, I'm quitting this job because I know that my boss is favored against me. And no, but that's what we would do if we were the boss. Well, I'm quitting this because I know what's happening, but in reality, we only know what we would do if we were in that situation. Now, there's a man who's a lot smarter. I'm going to read a very long quote from him, and I think that this is very brilliant. McManus, and he said, the greatest way to measure the condition of your soul is what you say about yourself, but what you say about others. This is because you do not see the world as it is, as you are. If you're consistently seeing beauty in the world around you, it is because you cultivated beauty inside of you. By contrast, if you cannot help but see the negative in those around you, it is because you hold negativity in your soul and exude it everywhere that you go. Now, that's his words, not mine. So you can be mad at him, not me. I didn't. What we life. So if we look for community, well, I knew that. I know what they meant. They said hello, but they didn't mean hello. It actually meant this. They complimented my shoes, but I know that hair. Oh, you know what they did? They said hi to my spouse, but not to me. I know what they're doing. They did say hi to me, and so I know revealing what is true about ourselves that we're afraid to face. When an invisible person plays the blame game over, say he is, really is. We only see as we are. Again, Cain, Judas, the wicked servant, all saw the world as they were and then try to project that on somebody else. Carrie Hoff, a pastor in Canada, said, the only person in the room not growing is the one in the room blaming everybody else. I'll say it again. The only one in the room not growing, everybody else. What we see, what we hear, and what we say reveals ourselves, our bitterness, and what we were in. So we need to see the truth about adversity. We need to see the truth about others and ourselves. And thirdly, we need to see him. We need to see him. He sees your adversity, he sees you, and he sees who you can become if you don't allow yourself to become invisible in times of Psalm 34, verse 17, when the Lord, Jehovah Yahweh, hears and delivers them out of their trouble. He is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Isaiah 30:18, therefore the Lord waits to be gracious to you. Therefore he exalts himself to show mercy to you. But for the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for him. Isaiah 43, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Through the waters they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not consume you. Luke chapter 12, verse 1, even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, you are of more value than many sparrows. One of my favorite verses is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, mount up with wings as eagles, and soar. When we are willing to see he is with us and he is for us, even in adversity, I promise you, God is the problem. I can promise you that. And he sees you. And he loves you. And he cares for you. And he also sometimes allows the bread of affliction and the water of adversity to come in to mold us into who we can become down the road if the adversity with blaming everybody else, turning tail, and disappearing and becoming invisible. He's you. He sees the problem. He sees the adversity. And he sees who you're going to be on the other side. Now, I could probably stand up here and list a list of adversities that all that you go through. And you do. The thing right now that you focus on, like, well, what do I this thing, God sees. He was there after that. You, God sees your children. God cares for your children more than you ever could. God has, and he has kids. He's a loving, good Father. And he cares for us, for our problems, and he cares for who we can become on the other side of them. But we cannot allow adversity to make us disappear. We can't allow adversity to make us remove ourselves from others. And I know they're judging me right now. I know they're judging me because I know that you don't know. It could be completely different. It's difficult and hard. Everybody is going through something that we don't understand or know about. God sees you. He sees the adversity. He sees you be on the other side of that adversity. And he wants to walk with you through the adversity. Team, you guys can come up here. Think about 3 men in the Bible. Their names are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Solid names. Solid names. Ty, good names. Names for kids. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We have one kid named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they're about to go through incredible adversity. And you would think that because they're standing up for God, that he would just shut the fire off or remove them, or they would just come before Nebuchadnezzar and all of a sudden, my bad, you're right, I'm wrong. We don't need. None of that happens. What do? They're thrown into a furnace full of fire. And yet, the enemy who threw them in looks in and says, oh, I thought 3 people in, I see 4. When I walk through the water, God walks with me. When you go through the storm, God goes with you. You have a God who will never in your life with you. Don't allow yourself to not face the adversity that you're facing. It's such a temptation. Let's just have fun. Ignore it. Let's just go on another trip. The problem will still be there when you get back. Let's just go out to eat. Let's just get a better problem will be there. Shoes. I love buying new shoes. You know what I learned about buying new shoes? The problem's still just bigger because now I went and spent money on new shoes. The problem will be there. But so will God, and so will his grace. I think back, I don't know if we can sing this or not. You guys are a lot better than stuff, but I think back, anytime you know the one song, how sweet the sound. Saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Him, a great reminder of, I have a God with me in my adversity. I don't need to let myself disappear in times of difficulty. He's with me. He will never disappear. You guys know this song? Yeah. We're going to sing Amazing Grace, and then they're going to sing. Cam's not here. I can do what I want. That's not true. Cam's watching, like, writing me a right now. Stop ruining this. We're going to sing Amazing because it's a beautiful, powerful of the that one who's just a jerk. After that 10,000 years, you won't remember how much of a jerk your coworker was. Come invisible meetings now. Instead, lean into him. He's with you, and so is his amazing, beautiful grace. I'm asking y'all to stand. You know, sing with us. They'll sing the other. You're going to do it without it's even. Like, we're just going to sing like old school style, like we used to do back in the day. The verse too loud by the Romans and killed. Hymns the Bible. Yeah. Even when facing being thrown in, because James said, all joy, brothers. Yeah. Trials brings patience, it brings steadfastness. Steadfastness brings competence. Competence brings joy and confidence. Don't let yourself leave you or forsake you. He is with you, and he is
Amazing grace, how sweet sound saved a wretch like me. I was lost, was blind, but now I see.
Again, let's do it again.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. The storm inside, to my knees, nowhere to hide. This wave is crippling. Come speak to me. What's raging inside of me? All of this worry, to you will release. Cast my cares at your feet. Take it all. Take it all. I trade my your peace. Take it all. Take it all. Give me your peace. When I feel you clear the skies, you are my soul's relief. Come speak to the sea. All this worry, to you I will leave. I cast my cares at your feet. Take it all. Take it all. I trade my fear for your peace. Take it all. Take it all.
your peace fall down from your hand to my heart. Let your peace fall down, 'cause it's who you are. Let your peace fall down from your hand to my heart. Let your peace fall down, 'cause it's who you are. Let your peace fall down from your hand to my heart. Let your peace fall down, 'cause it's who you are. Your peace fall down from your hand. Let your peace fall, 'cause it's who you are. Yes, it's who you are. I cast my cares at your feet. Take it all, take it all. I trade my fear for